Hello, and a very warm welcome to our shared time together today. My name is Lyra, and I am so glad you are sitting here with me. Someone walks past you in a long office hallway and says hello. They naturally ask how you're doing today. Your brain immediately responds with the words, "I'm fine." The phrase slips out of your mouth completely automatically. You say it when you are wonderfully happy and deeply excited. You say it when you are terribly sad or totally exhausted. The words lose all their genuine meaning because we use them constantly. We build walls around ourselves by repeating this automatic phrase. People genuinely want to know the real truth about your day. Replacing that automatic habit opens up beautiful new conversational doors. You walk into a bright cafe to meet a close friend. They pull out a chair and ask about your recent days. You smile warmly and tell them, "I'm doing really well. Your morning was calm and your work feels completely manageable." A kind boss stops by your desk early on Monday morning. They ask about your weekend and your current mood. Replying, "I'm doing really well," sounds entirely professional and highly positive. It carries much more genuine energy than a flat fine. People hear the lightness in your voice and feel naturally relaxed. You are quietly telling them that your life feels balanced today. Using this phrase shares your good mood without sounding arrogantly boastful. An old university friend calls you unexpectedly on a quiet evening. They want to know everything about your newly established life. You settle into a comfortable chair and say things are good. This response covers absolutely everything in your entire world. It includes your job and your family and your health. Sometimes we do not want to focus on one single specific detail. Saying things are good paints a beautiful, broad, positive picture. You are painting the entire canvas with a warm, gentle color. The listener understands that your life feels generally stable and happy. It invites them to ask more specific questions if they wish. This simple phrase keeps the conversation flowing forward incredibly smoothly. You wake up after 8 full hours of incredibly deep sleep. The morning sun shines brightly through your large bedroom window. A neighbor waves across the quiet street and asks about your morning. You wave back enthusiastically and say, "Never been better." Your team successfully finishes a massive, exhausting project at the office. Everyone feels a deep sense of total relief and pure joy. A colleague asks how you feel about the final finished result. Replying, "Never been better," captures that exact peak moment of happiness. It is a highly expressive phrase reserved for truly excellent days. We use it when we feel absolutely on top of the world. Hearing someone say this immediately brings a bright smile to anyone. A lively birthday party is in full swing at a local restaurant. The busy host walks over to check on your small table. You hold up your cold drink and say, "I'm doing great." You just received wonderful news about a highly desired promotion. A coworker notices your massive smile and asks about your day. You happily confess that you are doing great right now. It bursts with highly positive and completely undeniable vibrant energy. Using the word great elevates the entire mood of the room. It feels significantly stronger and brighter than just feeling well. We share this phrase when our internal happiness overflows naturally outward. You are waiting patiently in a slow line at the grocery store. The tired cashier scans your items and casually asks about your day. You shrug gently and reply that you cannot complain. It feels deeply honest. A fellow parent sits next to you at a noisy school event. They sigh heavily and ask how your busy week is actually progressing. You smile softly and say you cannot complain at all. Your life is just perfectly normal right now. Nothing completely spectacular happened recently, but nothing terrible happened either. We use it to show modest gratitude for a quiet, peaceful life. Having absolutely nothing to complain about is a hidden daily blessing. It sounds highly natural and deeply grounded in everyday reality. The busy holiday season brings endless shopping and long cooking sessions. A distant relative calls to ask how you are managing everything. You take a quick breath and say you're keeping busy. Your desk is completely covered in tall stacks of important paperwork. A junior staff member asks how your Tuesday is going so far. Telling them you are keeping busy explains your intense focus. It describes a life completely filled with constant daily tasks. We use it to gently explain why we might seem slightly distracted. Being busy is a highly universal human experience everywhere in the world. It perfectly replaces fine by offering a true picture of your reality. A completely exhausting winter cold makes your head ache for days. A kind friend sends a quick message to check your health. You type back slowly that you're hanging in there. The heavy financial quarter at work requires working late every single night. Your concerned partner asks how you feel after another 14-hour shift. You lean against the wall and admit you are hanging in there. It paints a picture of someone holding tightly to a rope. Life feels incredibly difficult right now, but you absolutely refuse to quit. We use this beautifully honest phrase during high stress or minor illness. I remind people learning with me at SpeakFlow English about the power of honesty. Speaking truthfully about our daily struggles builds profound trust with other people. You're tired, but you are bravely surviving the heavy storm. The prices of fresh food and daily travel keep rising constantly. A close family member asks how your monthly budget is looking. You nod slowly and confess that you are just getting by. A challenging new university course tests your mental limits every week. Your academic advisor asks about your progress in the difficult class. You answer honestly that you are getting by for now. It means you're surviving but completely lacking any extra comfort. The effort requires almost all of your available daily energy. We share this gentle truth only with people we genuinely deeply trust. It perfectly expresses a quiet struggle without sounding intensely dramatic. 4 separate massive meetings are scheduled on your calendar today. Your favorite coworker catches you rushing quickly down the busy hallway. They ask how your morning is going so far. You roll your eyes playfully and say you are barely surviving. It breaks the heavy tension entirely. A chaotic family dinner involves 3 loud children and spilled fruit juice. A sympathetic neighbor looks over the small fence and asks about the noise. You laugh tiredly and claim you are simply surviving the wild evening. We often use this intense word with a thick layer of humor. It takes a highly dramatic word and makes it wonderfully lighthearted. Sharing a quiet laugh about our daily chaos makes it much easier. You are not really in danger, you are just heavily overwhelmed. You finally unlock your front door at 8 in the evening. Your physical body aches constantly. Your tired mind feels entirely empty. Your roommate looks up from their heavy book and asks about your mood. You drop your heavy bags and sigh that it has been a long day. A delayed late evening train makes your normal commute deeply miserable. The friendly ticket inspector asks how you're doing tonight. You shake your head slowly and mention it has been a long day. It softly explains your visible lack of bright, positive energy. You are kindly telling the other person not to expect lively conversation. The phrase asks gently for quiet space. It asks for peaceful deep rest. A minor sports injury makes walking extremely painful and highly frustrating. A gym friend notices your slight limp and asks about your leg. You look down at your foot and admit you have been better. A series of unfortunate small accidents ruins your entire planned weekend. Your polite colleague asks about your days off on Monday morning. You give a small, sad smile and say you have been better. This phrase is a masterclass in highly polite and subtle honesty. You are openly acknowledging that things are currently less than perfect. However, you avoid pouring massive, heavy complaints onto the innocent listener. It invites them to show gentle sympathy without forcing a deep conversation. A sudden, unexpected job loss throws your entire life completely off balance. Your absolute best friend comes over to sit quietly with you. They look directly into your eyes and ask how you really feel. You take a deep breath and say honestly, things are a bit tough. A prolonged illness in the family creates an atmosphere of heavy worry. A deeply trusted mentor takes you out for a quiet coffee. You look at your warm cup and confess things are a bit tough. We reserve this specific phrase for moments of total profound vulnerability. Listening to natural conversations here at SpeakFlow English reveals how people connect. Real human connection requires stepping away from fake positive responses entirely. Admitting your hidden pain gives the other person permission to support you. Learning to drive a manual car involves making many highly frustrating mistakes. The patient driving instructor asks how you feel about the complex pedals. You wipe your sweaty hands and say you're getting there. Recovering from a broken arm takes many months of painful physical therapy. A caring neighbor asks if you can lift heavy things yet. You move your arm slowly and reply, "I am getting there." It shows beautiful forward progress mixed with a long, ongoing journey. The final destination is still quite far away right now. However, you are steadily moving in the absolute right direction. People highly respect the quiet determination hidden inside this simple phrase. Moving to an entirely new foreign country completely overwhelms your senses. Every single daily task feels like a massive, unsolvable puzzle. Someone back home calls to ask how the big relocation is going. You speak softly and say you're taking it one day at a time. The deep grief of losing a beloved pet leaves a silent, empty house. A close friend checks on your healing heart after a few weeks. You quietly mention that you are taking it one day at a time. It represents the absolute deepest level of human patience and endurance. Looking too far into the unknown future causes terrible, sharp anxiety. Focusing entirely on the present single day brings immense, quiet comfort. It reminds both the speaker and the listener to breathe very slowly. A casual acquaintance stands next to you at a local bus stop. The morning air is pleasantly cool, and the sky is mostly clear. They turn their head slightly and ask how you're doing today. You keep your tone light and casually say, "Pretty good." You finish eating a nice simple sandwich for your quick lunch. The friendly waiter clears your empty plate and asks about your meal. You nod your head politely and tell them it was pretty good. It is the absolute perfect replacement for a highly robotic fine. It sounds significantly warmer and much more naturally human. It demands absolutely zero emotional energy to say or to hear. A terrible headache ruins your entire planned morning of focused work. You drink a large glass of water and rest in a dark room. Later in the afternoon, your worried colleague asks about your painful head. You smile with genuine relief and say you are much better. You resolve a very stressful argument with a deeply loved family member. The heavy tension in your chest finally dissolves completely away. A mutual friend asks how the difficult situation feels now. You breathe out completely and tell them you feel much better. It heavily implies a highly positive change from a previously negative state. The listener immediately understands that a dark, heavy cloud has finally lifted. It celebrates the beautiful return of normal daily peace. Thursday afternoon arrives slowly after a string of highly difficult, intense days. You stand near the office coffee machine waiting for a fresh cup. Another tired worker walks up and asks how your week is going. You share a deeply tired smile and say surviving the week. A student prepares for 5 different massive final exams in 1 week. Their worried parent calls to check on their terrible stress levels. They rub their tired eyes and claim they are surviving the week. It builds an immediate sense of shared human struggle. It targets a specific difficult block of time rather than life generally. Friday represents the glorious distant finish line of a long marathon. We just need to keep running slightly longer. A highly sudden rainstorm completely ruins your afternoon outdoor walking plans. You return home completely wet but safely protected from the heavy weather. Your roommate hands you a dry towel and asks how you're feeling. You dry your wet hair and simply say you're doing all right. The local bakery runs completely out of your favorite morning pastry. You buy a slightly different plain muffin instead of complaining loudly. The apologetic baker asks if the plain choice is perfectly acceptable. You nod your head gently and reply you are doing all right. It shows a highly flexible and completely easygoing human nature. Minor inconveniences happen daily. They do not ruin your fundamentally good mood. It proves you can easily adapt to sudden, unexpected small changes. A morning run through the quiet local park fills your lungs completely. The crisp, fresh air wakes up every single tired cell in your body. You walk back into your warm house, breathing deeply and calmly. Your sleepy partner looks at your bright face and asks your mood. You stretch your arms wide and say you're feeling great. A highly successful job interview leaves you absolutely full of bright hope. You walk out of the tall building with a completely confident step. Your friend waits outside and immediately asks how the meeting finally went. You grin widely and announce that you are feeling great. It expresses a highly physical and entirely emotional sense of complete well-being. You sit perfectly still in a totally quiet, beautiful green garden. A gentle, warm breeze moves the tall trees softly above your head. A passing gardener smiles politely and asks how your quiet afternoon is. You look around at the absolute natural beauty and say, just wonderful. You finish reading a truly beautiful and deeply moving old book. The final pages leave you feeling completely peaceful and wonderfully satisfied. A family member notices your calm expression and asks about your thoughts. You close the thick cover gently and whisper, just wonderful. It elevates the conversation beyond normal daily routine entirely. We use it when we experience moments of pure, absolute quiet joy. It sounds deeply elegant and completely genuine in the human mouth. Changing the way we naturally respond to people changes our daily connections. The absolute smallest shift in your daily vocabulary opens wide new doors. You stop hiding behind automatic, totally empty robot words completely. You begin to actually share your real human life with other people. Sometimes you share your bright, overflowing happiness with a warm, open smile. Sometimes you bravely share your hidden, quiet struggles and deep tiredness. People naturally respond to genuine honesty with their own warm, genuine truth. You will slowly notice your daily conversations becoming much deeper and richer. The simple act of speaking honestly draws good people naturally closer. Walking this beautiful path of language learning together is a quiet joy. Have a wonderfully peaceful day and enjoy speaking your absolute truth.